Now I'm going to be talking about another adult film. This film was introduced to me in, I believe, 2001. A friend of mine knew about an adult video store, and I gave him some money, and he went out there and got it, but he didn't get the one I wanted, but he got the one that featured the exact same adult film star, and he got one for himself. That one was something about Jack 7. I'm going to be talking about the one that I got, that he got from me. This one stars the beautiful Heather Hunter. It's the boss's wife. It was released, I believe, in '99. Now, Heather Hunter was introduced to me in HBO's Real Sex 15, which aired on HBO 30 years ago today. Oh, the Real Sex series on HBO. Whenever that came on and you saw it in the HBO guide, you would memorize what time it would come on. You would sneak that behind mom and dad's back by staying up late and watching it in your room without them knowing. They discontinued this series in 2009, I believe, because they said, well, I read on the internet the reason why is because now there was declining in it because people now could have easy access to finding that stuff on the internet. And they were like, then what's the point of making this if no one's going to be watching anymore, so they got rid of it. And when it comes to those series, sometimes they had good segments, sometimes they had segments that made you say, I actually stayed up late for that. Yeah, it was one of those shows. But you would still watch the whole thing, even though it was something you weren't interested in because it was an adult show that you weren't supposed to watch, and you were just wanting to sneak it behind mom and dad's back for the heck of it. Now, in that Real Sex 15, the opening segment, I believe, was with Heather Hunter. And that's what introduced me to her, but I didn't know she was an adult film star. I didn't know anything about her. I think I saw something on like VH1. That's why I did learn that she was part of the world of adult filmmaking at that time. She's retired now. She's been retired for a long time. I believe 2001 was her final year. But whenever my friend brought me the boss's wife, first we watched his video, and then he left, and then I popped the one I wanted to see, well, the one that was in. It wasn't the one that I wanted. I wanted Coming on America, but he got me the boss's wife instead, because that was the only one that they had that had her in it. And this is more like an obsession story. It says it on the back of the VHS, which I have right above my cell phone. Yeah, I'm not kidding around. I do have the VHS, complete in box, and I got the DVD, yes, and that's all I got. Well, but I do have some other videos of her. I'm not totally obsessed, so don't even start looking at me with that funny face and everything, but she is my all-time favorite adult performer. But I don't like all her films. I think Misjudged is her worst adult film, and it's one of the worst adult movies I've ever seen. Well, The Boss's Wife is about a guy named Chris, played by Randy Spears, who basically likes to cheat on his wife at a bordello. He has this girl that he keeps buying. There's scene number one. He talks to the woman who runs the place, but she basically tells him, I know you're married, but your secret's safe with us, but enjoy the variety, because they have a problem with attachments. But he then sees the new lady, played by Heather Hunter, which is Desiree. She's with two guys on a sofa, surrounded by people, and then they just sit back and watch the show, and so does Chris. And the woman in charge lets him know that she's the new girl, and she wants to know if you would be interested. He goes, no, one a day is fine. And he goes and sees this not so bright wife playing, I think it's Dakota playing her. And he reminds her that they're going to have dinner with his boss. So they go, she basically forgot. He goes there, and it turns out Desiree is his boss's wife. He and Desiree meet in the back. They start arguing with each other. He thinks what she's doing is wrong. She gets on his case that that's her business. It says that he even throws what he was doing there at him. And he says, my wife doesn't give a crap what I do as long as the credit card bills are paid. So she's trying to say, let's just forget we saw each other. And then when they leave, Desiree and her husband have fun. And then he goes home, and Chris has fun with his wife. Scene 3 and 4. And now, of course, as we all know, there's about 5 scenes, so there's going to be one more, and we all know it's going to be Chris and Desiree. Well, Chris gets on the phone and calls the place. Desiree answers it, but he doesn't say anything. Then he requests Desiree the next day. She objects. Her boss puts her foot down that when a customer buys her, she is to service him. They get into an argument, and then they do it. Then she tells him not to come back here no more. But he says he wants to see her. But she says, again, you don't want to play. Then when she goes home, we get the big reveal. Her husband is aware of what she does for a living. He goes, how many clients did you have today? I think she said 4 or 5. And then the last line is him yelling at her, you wash when you come home. Well, The Boss's Wife is a good adult video. It's not my favorite Heather Hunter video. I want it all to me as her best one. But when it comes to this film's story and plot, considering that the success of that movie Obsession, you can literally remake this as an Obsession story, because it literally like covers, like, I guess you could say, the first act of Chris seeing her, finding out who she is, and then becoming obsessed with her. But probably for the second act, he messes up, he gets banned. His wife finds out, she's now divorcing him. He makes a scene with his boss, but when it's revealed that his boss is aware what his wife does and he doesn't care, he loses his job, and that's when Chris snaps. He he kills his wife in order to avoid the divorce. He goes back to that bordello, kills the woman running it, kills the girl he's always buying, and then he learns where Desiree and her husband are. He goes after them, badly hurts her husband, not kills him. Then he confronts Desiree, but she gets the drop on him, doing the old pretend that she is going to be with him, and whenever he closes his eyes, if you're familiar with Cutting Class, then you'll know where I base this. She just reaches out, hits him in the head with and gets rid of him, and finally gets rid of the perverted obsession of the, perverted psychopath is what I'm looking for. Yeah. Well, if Hollywood's running out of ideas, they might start remaking adult films. They did remake a hentai called Kite, and it stars Samuel L. Jackson, so there's a chance we might one day start seeing them remaking adult films as serious movies. So, if they were interested in, I probably would recommend The Boss's Wife, because the movie, minus all the adult stuff, covers the first act of an Obsession story. So, Hollywood, have fun running so low ideas, you'd have to resort to remaking adult movies. Oh, that would be hilarious if they started doing that. They might even start adapting my books if they get so desperate in what I write. Oh man, they'd say, I wouldn't adapt this in a million years. 10 years, a few years later, Scott, we want to adapt your books? That ain't gonna happen. Anyway, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but if you haven't seen The Boss's Wife, I actually recommend it.